Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Campus Care Presents Panel Discussion. I, Mehek Dhiman, your host for the day, would like to welcome you all. Panel discussion is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints on topics related to education and society. A topic for the day is data driven decision making, and to express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us Mr. Nakir Raza Sayed Sir, Chairman of Noble School, Alipur, District, Karnataka. A very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time.
It's my pleasure and it's duty.
Then we have with us Mr. Hanamesh Sir, Principal of Kalpavruks Model School,
Kalpavruksha Model School.
Karnataka. Thank you so much, sir. Very welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And then last but not the least, we have with us Miss Neelam Mahana ma'am, founder and principal of the SD Public School, Dwarika City, Muzaffarnagar, Uttar Pradesh. Very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Mehek. Thank you so much. And it's really a pleasure to be a part of this discussion.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, let's start off with the session. Sorry, sir. All right. So, ma'am, let's start off with you only. So, when we are talking about data-driven decision making and how are we using the data to improve school outcomes, ma'am? So, what are some of the data sources that you are, you would have used or you are currently using to inform decision making? Let it be, offline or online sources, ma'am.
Yeah. In the scenario of the school, our sources and our resources are the children, our students, and the teachers, right? Basically.
Yes.
So, how well the teachers are qualified and competent and experienced, because as a principal, my teachers are the main source of the data. If I'm talking about the 360-degree data of the child. Otherwise, when it comes to academic and grading of the subjects and all, well, it is all the rubrics which contribute to the data, but that is only say about 60% of the data which influences the decision making, and all the decisions taken in the school. The other data which comes through the teachers and the environment and the society and the parents, that is again that also helps us in making decisions.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving forward, Hanamesh sir, would you like to add something to ma'am? What are some of the data sources that you use for, to inform decision making in your school, sir?
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. We all are in the 21st century these days, and we are all talking about NEP 2020, where we are concentrating more on life skills, 21st century
Yeah.
skills, where decision making is one of those important skills we all have to have and then train our future generation. For decision making, definitely data is very important, and what kind of data we collect also matters a lot. As we all know, Madam rightly said that the students and teachers and other school, the related to school, we get data from different sources. But the one major data what we all consider while taking decisions related to teaching learning process is about the standardized the test scores. But that alone should not be the source of decision making. We can have the observations on the areas where we want to have some decisions, and we can also collect some systematically, in a periodic way, certain observations on the teaching learning process, or it may be a classroom teaching as well. If teacher can collect a systematic data about a child right from the beginning, and if he assess it, if he analyze it with the proper tools and techniques, which might help him even in his teaching process. He can differentiate his instruction using that data effectively, and it will definitely help him to achieve his outcomes. So that way we feel the data is very, very important in decision making, and it depends on how systematically you collect and read that data, ma'am.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. Mm. And that is what actually, that is what I said. It is the teachers, how qualified they are and how competent they are and how well we have trained them in order to collect the data. Because it is basically the teachers who are the most important source besides the academics and all who give this, data. So they are responsible and they do it also, right? In our schools and all, they do it daily recording. You must be also, we as a principal, we have a record file of every student where every daily data is recorded there. So it is a very systematic process, but again it depends on us as to how we train our teachers to do this, as you mentioned, a systematic observation record of the child. So yes, it has to be a really very systematic record.
Yes, to add on to Neelam ma'am and Anamesh ideas that the sources where we get from the students and from the teachers, and rightly what Anamesh said about the how data is important for the decision making. But we should be clear at the first stand itself that what is the purpose of the data collection.
Yes.
So when we are sure about the purpose, then we can take the sources, which sources. So broadly for a school, there are four sources which we can get the data. One is, as ma'am said, teachers, students, and the third is classroom, what Hanamesh was insisting, that classroom observations and other things. And the fourth one, which has made the technology has made us easy to access is that is from parents. So parents, like you have WhatsApp polls and other things, and also we can collect the data on the many decisions from this source which we have untapped, because parents are the one, especially when they are when the children are small, the more concern and more things have been impacted on them. So these are the sources, and as rightly said, so data, I mean, is an important source for the decision. It's not like with the authority earlier, or with the dictators like a principal or a management used to take the decisions, but now that is not possible because people are so aware about the things and there's so competition here. So we have to be very, very much concerned with the sources of the data, and on the data our decision should be focused.
Absolutely, sir. Nakir, sir, also, you just explained us about the data sources that you use to inform decision making in your school, sir. So, moving on, sir, how do you, analyze and interpret that data to identify the trends and also for the area of, improvement, sir?
uh, the to improvement, see the we need to ask few questions before analyzing and interpreting the those datas. First of all, who are the data, on what perspective we are taking the decisions, on whose perspective it is for the parents or for the students, or to improve the teaching learning process or to improve the scores. And so what is the perspective on which what it counts while analyzing, we should take one whose perspective counts, whether it's the student's perspective or the teacher's perspective or the parent's perspective or the school perspective or the management perspective. So what perspective counts first while analyzing, we should answer this question. And then how does this interpretation can be checked or verified with the data. Sometimes we have biases or some perspective or notions of the uh, things. So we need to be very clear that how it has to be verified on the interpretation which we do, and how it will be communicated to a different stakeholders. and what criteria to be taken for the judgment. So this third aspect is also very important. What criteria should be used to judge? Like whether it is the score as a criteria, or whether it is the attendance percentage as a criteria, or as the number of hours which we teachers take, or what is the effectiveness of the teachers has been taking, and what is the unique patterns we find in while interpreting and interpretations. Sometimes it becomes outlier, the data becomes an outlier, so we need to check the source again, back to the source, whether it has been collected properly in a proper channel. So that is the thing, the pattern which reveals how it reveals. And then about the recommendation, the lastly it is about the recommendation which we give based on the analysis and the interpretation of the data.
Thank you so much, sir. Very wonderfully explained. Neelam ma'am, would you like to add something to sir?
Can you repeat the question, Mehak?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how do you use that data that you have, collected to, identify the trends and to improve for school basically for,
Right, right,
so
right,
there's
right.
an
So,
area
sir,
state.
like, sir has beautifully explained the thing. Key on what is the perspective, right? That is something which I really like. And he also added key, what was the purpose, right? So that purpose defines actually what do we want actually in our school, the way he clearly said that whether it is the attendance percentage, right? So if you look at the attendance percentage, then you come to know, because you also have, for everything you have your own criteria, you have your rubrics. So any deviation from the rubrics would tell you whether what is the trend. Right. Say, for example, let me tell you, I don't know about South India, like what, but I belong to North India. And here recently, I've seen a trend that after class 10, the student, there is this menace which has been mushrooming around here in North India, and that is the, mushrooming of coaching classes. And the students, they try to absent themselves from the school, and they go to join the coaching classes, right? So so the attendance percentage, and this gives us that, okay, what is the trend, the class, this is right. So that attendance percentage data, that data gave us the trend that yes, class 11th and 12th students, they do not want to come to school, they are more interested in joining the school in coaching classes. So, what for we are actually, analyzing the data. And for that purpose, if we have the rubrics with us, so any deviation from the rubrics would let us know what is the trend, and what is the trend, and what are the areas of improvement. And as very correctly Sir said, that, the observations have to be really very accurate, not biased. So those things also have to be, monitored and kept in mind on a regular basis. So that is why digital data, it comes to a help there to the principals, because digital data cannot be tampered with. Once the attendance is marked, it is marked, right? So so it comes to help to the principals.
Absolutely, ma'am. And also, ma'am, how do you communicate the data findings to the staff members or the stakeholders so that, it is.
Obviously, yes. New technology now. This is a digital era, so it is very easy to communicate. Use any school app. Every school has an app, and you communicate it to the parents, and then you have your PTMs also. That is also a wonderful way of communicating. But on a daily basis, normally we communicate it through the school. And if, yes, there are problematic areas of concern, then obviously telephone calls are the most important things.
Thank you so much, Neelam ma'am. Uh, Hanamesh sir, would you like to add something to Neelam ma'am or Nakir sir?
True, ma'am. It's both Neelam ma'am and Najee sir has rightly said that the usage of data and communicating, it all depends on the parameters set by the school, as well as some expectations of parents. If the data is analyzed correctly, depending on the parameters and the rubrics which we create there, it's always good to break the data according to our aims and objectives of that factor, and learn accordingly and collect them, and then divide the data accordingly, and see to it that it is deviating towards the positive development, or whether it needs to be addressed according to the subject of that collection of data. And then accordingly, with the stakeholders, the discussion can be conducted, and we can take their views, and we can also share the data with them and the observations, and we can together make the different ways and means of handling that area, and work on some strategies for improvement. That's what I feel.
To add on to this, wonderfully, ma'am has explained it, and sir also has added some points. Some like on just to add one point is some data we need to communicate individually, personalized data. For example, some parents will be there. They are more interested in other child, not their child. So we need to be very careful about it, and we need to be personalized, and in one-to-one talk or into phone calls or something, like we have to do some data to be communicated. Some data we need to be massly we have to do through the social media, website, what school does, what school's philosophy, what school's vision, how we do it, what we do it. So these are all need to be publicized. And then the students works also, so that communicate, that also has to be communicated through the publications, through the books or magazines. These kinds of annual some things which we have to be concerned, because parents are more interested about the students, what they do, not what the school. So of course, what the school plans the students do, but they want to see what schools impacted, what is the outcome of what our activities are there. So when we focus on the outcome and we communicate this, it becomes more impacted, and it will be very effective. And of course, we have so many means of communicating, like you have SMS, you have WhatsApp messages, we have apps like NTAP, or we have websites, we have social media. So we all can use it, all these things, to communicate the parents effectively.
Thank you so much, Nakir sir. And also, sir, to add on, how do you balance the use of data? How do you, balance it with some other factors such as experience and all?
That is very important. Data is very important, as in the opening remark, Mr. Hanimesh has said that in the 21st century, decision making skills and the data is very important.
Yes.
But we need to balance it based on our experience, based on our past judgments, how it has been, and based on our intuitions, and more importantly, based on our common sense. So if we start collecting, I mean, the data, the more data is available. So once we have so much of data available to us, the problems also will increase when we start using data, every data. So what we need to do is we need to simplify the data usage. What data and purposeful, if we have been there, then definitely we can able to do. So we should not, our common sense, our experience, our judgments, our intuition should not drown into the ocean of the data. So we need to balance both the our data collection and our own. Some decisions we need to take based on the culture of the where the school location. I mean, some decision, ma'am, Neelam can take in different perspective, but in South India we need to take in a different perspective. So we need to balance in the both aspects.
Absolutely, sir. It plays a very important role here. Thank you so much, sir. Neelam ma'am, would you like to add something to sir?
Definitely, definitely. What happens? Data is school is not a mechanical, device. It is more. It is a human resource. Yes. So only the data cannot drive the decisions. They cannot, that is why that is where the experience, the intuition, and the daily knowledge of the teachers and the principal, they come in, because our experience should be overriding the digital data, not the vice versa, because digital it is data is only something which is mechanical. Then one more thing which has to be counted is that data, whatever data we are collecting, it has to be, as say Nafisa said rightly, we should know the purpose. It's not that we keep on collecting the data and it is a sea, pura ocean of data. No, just let's concentrate on the minimalistic of the things, that what data we require actually. And there are certain things which our experience would help the students. All the decisions cannot be taken based on the data. Maybe the child was not well throughout. Maybe certain other factors were disturbing the child. His result was not up to the mark. But then, as a principal, I have to talk to the parents as a I need to, tell my counselor to counsel the child and speak to the child as to what factors were disturbing him. I simply cannot say that based on his result, academic result, the child is good for nothing or he will not be able to do. Maybe certain factors were disturbing the child and he could not perform well. So here only taking decision based on the data will never help. And that is why, data is important, but it is not the most important. Our experience and our intuition and our understanding of humanity, that is the most important.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, Neela, ma'am. Hanamesh, sir, would you like to add something to ma'am
Yeah,
or sir?
true. I think both the dignitaries have covered. I think most of the glimpse of that. The data alone should not be the deciding factor there. They have rightly stated that data only can give us the hint of where exactly we have to see to, and then what is the area we need to tap in. Definitely the experience play the role, and in school definitely we have to see certain things from the child's point of view, because sometime when we see the scores, we may find some students scoring low, which should not only the factor that decides that the child is not doing well or he is a weak learner or a slow learner. There may be so many other factors affecting, and we have to collect the data based on other observations, like
Yes.
teachers observation, or the individual interaction also can be done. A kind of a small case study also can be done on those kind of kids, and collect the other sources, and take the appropriate decision which helps the child in getting better in their scores. That's what these different collection of data should help in making every child coming out of their learning difficulties. That's what we have been speaking about. No child should be left alone. So these are the data. Sometime in the crowd of 40 children in a class, some children go out of the sight of teacher, where they may not be able to identify exactly the which child is facing difficulty. But when we get the results of tests or exams, we will come to know that a particular child is not doing so well, and then that's a kind of indication for all of us to talk to that child, or identify other resources of reasons for low scoring, and then sit with the child, talk to the teachers, parents, and then find a better way to help that child. So that's what I too feel, that the data whatever we collect should not alone be the deciding factor, and our experience and other observations also should be taken into consideration.
Yes, rightly said. Just I want to add one point, if with your permission, Mike.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Please go ahead.
See, the thing is like usually when we use the technology and all, we usually use the quantitative data. So like numbers, everything is numbers,
Right,
numbers,
right.
numbers, numbers only we take it. But we need to consider the qualitative data also.
Yes.
So to consider the qualitative data, we need to involve all the stakeholders for that. So it was a viral video which was in the WhatsApp forwards recently, that a child used to come late to the school every day, right? So they were just marking him late or punishing him and all. So when the teacher finds out that he has the domestic duties to continue,
Yes.
his father is like a disabled father, so he has to take care, and that's the reason he was coming. So the perspective has completely changed because they have the application of the qualitative data. So for qualitative data, we need to balance our experience, our intuition, our other factors which we need to human touch, as ma'am had said. So these factors, if we combine, then we will have a proper decision making.
And it does not even happen with only students. At times, the example which you gave, sir, right now, it happened with one of my staff members also, a very young boy. He had recently joined in my school, and normally he would come late. Normally, so obviously the machine was marking him late, your biometric machine. And when I looked at the attendance, I got alarmed that this boy is a newcomer and he is not, following the decorum of the school. So one day I called him to my office, and then I came to know that he has a mother who is completely bedridden, and he's the only child who has to take care. So in the morning he used to get up, bathe his mother, cook food for his mother, then give her breakfast, medicine, and then he used to come to school. So my entire thing, like earlier, I was feeling that he's a non-sincere, but then entire perspective changed. I said he's such a sincere boy, and then so perspective changes. Not only the matter of the students, but it is the entire the school. It happens with anybody, anybody.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, Neelam, ma'am. Thank you so much, Nakir, sir, and Hanamesh, sir, for being here today. It was lovely
Thank you.
having you here.
Thank you, Mahek.
Thank you
It
so
was a
much.
pleasure being here.
Thank you so much for wonderful interacting with our different dignitaries on the principals on this forum, and thank you for the opportunity, Mahek and NTAP, for this wonderful session.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
So thank
Thank
you,
you,
and
ma'am.
bye bye, sir. Bye bye, both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
for the
for all the
opportunity.
viewers watching us out, do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Have a
Bye
good day.
bye.
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 Good day and happy Ugadi.
Thank you. Happy
What
Ugadi.
is Ugadi? What is Ugadi?
Oh, it's in South India. It's a new year. Huh?
Okay, all right.
Same to you,
Navratri.
sir.
We call it Navratri. Today we started with Navratri. The first day of the Navratri. Okay. Ugadi. That was Ugadi.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So learned a new word. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.